My lovelies. This is Paisley Wilde, and we are tumbling through the chaos. Now, if everything is working correctly, Lucky is in my chats somewhere, and trying to figure out where that might be. Oh, there it is. And I will see if I can get her to join me actually in the studio so that we might be able to chat away. Uh, at the same time and talk about the chaos because we've been trying to do this thing where we're back online because we both had to take a little bit of a, we'll call it a mental health break, because sometimes you just need a mental health break. So um, I don't see Lucky. Oh, hello, Mr. Aether Archives. That's awesome. So Aether Archives popped up in YouTube and I see it in Rumble, so that's super cool. So my chats are going into the right places. That's fantastic. So I'm exploring and trying the new technologies, pretending that I am not a Gen Xer with gray hair in my hair, grays in my hair. Oh, I suppose. Uh, yeah. Um, so I'm going to uh, hang up there. Hey, Leo, how's it going? Long time no hear. And then yeah, that's awesome. I'm totally stoked that some of the things are good. I don't know why that's not working. Mm. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering why I'm just kind of tuning out and chatting and such wanderingly, it's because I'm just trying to multitask, and sometimes I do it okay, and sometimes I just don't. And there, hello, yes, and the YouTube popped up. So um, this is really cool. So the new technologies. I see Gemini and Truth Frequency News. Wow. Hello. That's so cool. I'm enjoying the technology suddenly. Yeah. Um, see if it's there too. I don't know. But so, yes. Hey, Lewis. Wow. All sorts of new faces and names and stuff. Or at least faces. Old faces, new names, yes. People I haven't seen in a while. So, for those of you who have talked to me in the past, the spaces between, um, it's been a while since we've been between the spaces, right? And for those of you who are new here, the spaces between, what does that mean? So, I have found that truth is very rarely in the extremes. It's more likely to be found in the spaces between, and that's where I am from, I suppose. And for those of you who don't know me much at all, I'm a pagan and a witch from the wilds of North Idaho, and I just talk a bit about my pagan path, being a parent, and I also hang out with Quantum Connections and Luckee1, and we talk about current events and the chaos that's going in the world. Sometimes that means we're talking about uh, health stuff. Sometimes that means we're talking about monetary things, current events, politics. It could be pretty much almost anything. It's a broad spectrum of miscellany. Um, and then Aether Archives, that's Mr. Don Longbeard. He and I will chat occasionally, and that could also be anything from pagan beliefs to politics. Um, and There's a whole lot of sarcastic humor involved there, a wee bit dry and such. So, but this is just kind of an inaugural bit with Paisley Wilde and Luckee1. And yes, just tumbling through the chaos because, yeah, that's absolutely what we're doing. If you look outside or spend any time out in the world, that is, oh yeah, we are tumbling through the chaos. And sometimes we don't know if we're staggering to or staggering fro or doing both. And and often it's when we are hanging out with our friends or talking with our friends that we put our ones together with our ones and our twos together with our twos and threes with our threes, and we come up with 58. And we wonder what's going on in the world, whether it's wondering what on earth is going up and down with mainstream media or our politicians here in the US or even those abroad. What's up with the medical world? Because how do they miss that? Um, and why don't we have flying cars? I mean, shouldn't those already be out there? And just what's going on. And it's interesting to me how all of that ties together. Because you'd think, why? How is that related? But really, it is because I want to talk about all of them, and I'm the one who's talking, and I control the microphone right now. Um, And also, as a pagan, what's that got to do with anything? Well, with all this disturbance and all of this chaos, you'll find that that means there's a lot of metaphysical happenings also, whether that means there's more hauntings or ghosts or just the odd bumps in the night happening a wee bit more, or um, just a whole lot of oddities and happenings and people not really understanding what's going on and needing more explanations and questioning their realities and things that have changed. So it's no longer just black and white. Things are really becoming more gray with their beliefs, their spirituality, and questioning what was always assumed. Um, those who are devout in whatever the spiritual path, sometimes they're questioning those things and they're wondering what happened and why it happened. And then, um, so they're looking for answers. And sometimes that can be found within an Abrahamic tradition, and sometimes it cannot be. Because there's a lot happening in our world where the old gods are waking up. And um, the incidents of people returning to paganism and following in the steps of their ancestors and waking up to the old beliefs and renewing their vows to the old gods and just finding comfort in those old paths is a big deal. Um, and they're looking for questions and teachings and answers and an understanding of a path that when we were children, often we were told it was wrong or evil or something we shouldn't do. And now we're learning that maybe that was the right way rather than the wrong way. People are becoming closer to the earth as we've gotten older. We're trying to reconnect with the earth in a way that maybe we weren't able to when we were younger because, they're the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. There's a whole lot of go crazy and run away from the country and go to the city. And now that's spinning back the other direction. And a lot of people are trying to find their roots. And so, what does that mean? And how do you do that? Especially if you cannot get away from your concrete jungle. So how do you get back in touch with your roots, even from your high-rise apartment? So that means the urban witch is alive and real, and how do you find a way to connect with those roots? Um, it's a big deal, and that path is often easier than you might think. And then for those who are still in the pagan pantry or broom closet, sometimes it's frustrating because you want to be as devout as you think you should be, by wearing your faith on your sleeve just like anybody else might be, whether they're a Christian or a Buddhist or a follower of Hecate, and have all of your jewelry out and on display and wear your regalia or whatever it is that you feel is necessary to show your beliefs. But at the same time, maybe you work in an environment that frowns on showing your beliefs, because you don't believe in a certain tradition or faith, or maybe you live in a place where you don't feel comfortable sharing that part of yourself, which I understand because there's a lot of them out there, regardless of what your spiritual path. And so, how do you still show your faith or demonstrate your faith without, walking around with, yeah, stars and glitter and sparkles and statuettes and stuff all over, just like everybody else? How do you demonstrate your faith without, just painting a big target on your back, basically? So, I'll also talk about that as well. And then a lot of mainstream media, advertising, and a lot of your social influencers will talk about how to set up an altar or what tools you might need to show that this is the path that you need, or what kind of stuff you need to demonstrate your path. And often, a lot of us just don't have that kind of budget anymore. I mean, even before inflation hit, a lot of us just don't have that kind of budget to have the latest and greatest, the brightest and most fanciest tools and crystals and this and that. Because if you've ever been to a rock shop, you can drop some money on some crystals. It's easy, very, very easy. And so, what else can you do? Well, we'll talk about that too. So, I've got um, big plans as far as what to talk about and all sorts of stuff. So this is kind of an introduction to Paisley Wilde here and the spaces between and all the different things I want to talk about. Future shows will be happening in the daylight. Um, Generally speaking, they'll be about an hour long, sometimes two. I will try to keep them to the point. Occasionally, there will be squirrel moments where I get totally off track and go down the rabbit hole because sometimes that's just where the information needs to go. And there will be some teaching classes, there will be just some informational classes or sessions, and then there will be just once upon a time I used to do 3-minute videos or my 3 cents. Sometimes those are 5-minute videos, depending on how much value we're getting for my 3 cents. And I'm going to keep doing those, I think, because sometimes that's all you really need is just a quick little bit to give you the short answer about a thing rather than the long essay. I mean, if you've ever been in a class or a workshop or a seminar, sure, you can be there all day to learn the thing. Sometimes you just needed the 15-minute cliff notes and you don't need the whole class. So, on that note, trying to keep this short, only about 15 minutes. If you want to email me, you absolutely can. It's wildepaisley@gmail.com, and that's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. You'll find me here on Rumble. I'm also on Twitter, and I do have the YouTube. I've got the website. I'm on Facebook. Apparently, I'm everywhere now. I think I've got a TikTok. Yeah, I got that too. I don't know. I just show up here, there, and everywhere else, it seems like. So, yes, any questions, shoot me a message. And what's today? Thursday. I'll try to be here about every Thursday at the very least. And I'm shooting for more often because you know what? It seems like since I've been gone, I found a lot more to say, which I had plenty to say before, but got a lot more now. So, I look forward to talking to y'all, and I look forward to hearing some questions from everybody. And I've got a whole lot more chat rooms available here to hear questions from. And I look forward to hearing what everybody has to ask. So I'm doing good. I hope you're doing great too. I look forward to talking to you again in the future. So merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend.